So Vishal, what is your inspiration to start the business?
It's not really a business, more of a joint venture, I'd say, between myself and the World Bank. I'm working with them very closely with their youth development team, really to try and get this off the ground. My motivation was to expand the horizons of knowledge for Singaporeans and for people in our country. I've seen how much these talks can enlighten individuals and just expose them to new ideas, which is what the focus of this entire enterprise is. To become more open, more aware of what is around you, and through that process of learning something more, to try and see whether it applies to your life, to implement it, and to be inspired really. And that's what I feel that these talks bring to all of us. It just gives you a diversity of knowledge and information that you wouldn't otherwise be exposed to, brought to you by the very best people and pioneers in their field. So it's a one-day informative, casual session where you can really just sit back and learn something new.
And just soak up everything.
And just soak up everything, think about it, laugh about it, you know.
Okay, previously you were telling me that, you grew up in different places as well.
That's right.
So that could be one of the factors. Do you want to tell us a bit about where you grew up and how you eventually came to where you are now?
Well, the nature of my father's job was such that we were posted to different countries around the world. I lived in the Philippines, I lived in India, I lived in Malaysia for a really short time. But what it did was that it exposed me to different cultures, different points of view. And in many of those countries, I mean, particularly India and the Philippines, where my dad was posted, they come from traditions of argumentation where people aren't afraid to challenge your ideas and, ask you what your rationale is, and you have to defend the perspectives that you have. And I think that's what I gained from my experiences overseas. Really soaking up these different cultures, asking myself what I thought about them, learning to communicate my own ideas across cultural divides or language divides or whatever it is. And that really inspired me, I guess, to go into debating when I came back to Singapore and eventually coach and start my own businesses in the communications field.
Okay, do you think there's a severe lack of a challenging tone among Singaporeans?
Well, I think I'm not sure whether there is a lack of a challenging tone. Perhaps it's the modes of communication and expression.
Okay.
So I think that in order to make people communicate or communicate effectively or analyze the ideas that they're exposed to, you really need some sort of a framework to do that and a background to do that. And the skills related to debating and public speaking really help you understand issues, analyze them, take a stand on them, which is very important. And I think that that's what Singaporeans need to do more. They need to be more aware of what's happening around them and take a stand on the issues. Ask yourself, what do you think about this? What are your perspectives? What are the pros and cons? Does it, does it square with the beliefs that you have? Do you think it's a positive thing? Do you think it's a negative thing? Why? And these are questions that I think that if everyone starts asking themselves, they become more informed citizens and better people.
Yep. Cool. So are you combating the recession, let's say, with regards to the Lightbulb Factory? Is there any way that you're going to combat the recession or change your business plan?
What we're doing to combat we have come up with a specific strategy to combat the recession, I must tell you honestly. But what we are doing is we're going to be ramping up our publicity. We're taking this lull period to do things that we weren't doing previously, like revamping the website. The address that I gave you is quite, as you can see, the website's quite old. Our pictures look quite quite dated. So what we're trying to do is revamp the publicity, send out more brochures to school, see if we have time to revise the programs, schedule trainers for different slots, see whether there are any new potential trainers. So we're focusing on other aspects of the business that will help us grow our business, or things that we wouldn't be able to do during a boom because we are so busy conducting workshops. We have no time to review and reflect upon what the current business structures we have in place. So that's really our business strategy right now. Revamping modules, working more on publicity, perhaps even reducing rates for some of our workshops, being more amenable to that as well. So those are things that we're doing.
Okay, for you starting on the Lightbulb Factory, you saw sort of an opening or a niche and all that. So any tips for people who just lost their jobs or are thinking of setting up something?
I'd say go for it. I think that people should take that chance. They should ask themselves what they want to do with their life, what they're passionate about, what they see themselves doing. And if you have a good idea, think it through, try and develop it, do some research, find out how you can execute it, and go and get it.
So go for your cause, take a stand, and then...
I say exactly. And that's what really helps you as well, you know. Analyze it, ask yourself whether this is what you want to do, whether you're passionate about it, whether you see yourself doing it in the long term, even if it's as a hobby, like how we started off our business as just something on the side to like fund our lifestyles or whatever it was, right? Just go for it. You don't have... What you lose from that is perhaps some of the money that you put in, right? Which, is the opportunity cost of learning through the business and perhaps the time that you put into the business as well. But the lessons that you learn from running it and the fact that you can tell yourself, well, I tried this, it didn't work out fine, if it works out, excellent, right? It's a positive learning experience, and I think everyone should try at least in one point in time in their life to start some small venture of the other, because that sense of ownership that you get, the fact that you're growing something that's like your baby, you know, your own little project, right? That feeling that you get is just immeasurable and indescribable. Even for a communications coach, I just can't really get that across to people. So go for it, I'd say.
And that was our pilot episode of Bright Sparks in Dark Times. If you know of a bright spark, let us know at razortv@sg..com.sg. See below for more details on contest mechanics.